Good morning, friends. Welcome back to the Experimental Homestead. My name is Crystal, and I'm coming at you from Zone 8B in the Pacific Northwest. Today, I want to do something new. I've been snowed in for a little bit, so I'm just excited to do something new. I want to try to make sauerkraut. I almost said sourdough. I want to make sauerkraut. We eat sauerkraut every day, pretty much, every dinner. I really love it, and it's just got these amazing health benefits that are so good. Fermented foods are so good for your gut health and everything. So we buy a decent amount of sauerkraut, and I was just thinking I love to make everything myself now, and I'm trying to become more self-reliant, and so this seems like a good place to learn. So I haven't really ever grown cabbages in my garden. I've never really found the need for it. It always feels like it takes up a lot of space in the garden, and I never really knew what to do with it because my love for sauerkraut is kind of new. So if this goes really well and I love the taste of it, then I'm so excited to grow my own cabbages. I am trying right now to grow some cabbages. If we grow some cabbages and make sauerkraut from that, that would be so awesome. So I'm utilizing a kraut source today. This is not my first time using it. I've made pine needle soda. I like to forage. So I've made pine needle soda out of using this, and it was amazing. This is really cool. If you've never seen kraut source before, basically I got this kit from one of our local zero waste stores, and it gives you the jar, this fun little fermentation lid, and then you get like a cookbook, which it has some really great recipes in there, but I'm starting really simple today. And then I actually didn't realize this until I grabbed this box to show you guys today, that it gives sea salt in this kit, which is so awesome. Because I just bought some sea salt for this, and I had it the whole time. So yeah, this is really cool. It basically, this was cheaper than me getting a fermentation crock. I'm kind of in a metropolitan area, so they're not abundant in like our thrift stores and antique stores like they might be in somewhere more rural. So they're quite expensive. So I just went with the kraut source, good price. You can even just buy the lid to make it even cheaper, and then you can just reuse a wide mouth jar. Wide mouth. I did actually clean a regular mouth jar for this, and I realized, oh, it's the wrong size. So I had to go back and I had to clean a wide mouth jar. It's just so cool. Like, this whole thing is just packed with knowledge and information. Like, has a spice guide on the side. It's so cool. Speaking of that, I think there was something else in here too. There is. So they even gave a nice little golden sauerkraut spice blend, which I believe is one of their recipes in the recipe book. That's so cool. They thought of everything. They really made it like brainless. It's great. But basically how it works, it's what a fun contraption this is you can put this guy on top of your wide mouth jar, and then when you twist it, this actually will lower. And then, so it'll push down all of your solids below your brine so that nothing will get moldy. It's like thought of everything. And then essentially, your ring will go on there, sorry. And then you fill the moat here with water and put this on top. And as long as you keep the water in here, it'll allow the jar to off gas without having to like burp the jar or anything. You just need to visually check there's still water in here, and if there is, your fermentation is going well. So I've only used this once. I'm excited to use it for sauerkraut. I'm excited to use it for something I'm excited to eat. Yeah, so their cookbook, the recipe book actually has different recipes and also has really good in-depth instructions. So you'll see like classic sauerkraut. You'll get into some fun things like vanilla and rosebud sauerkraut. Is cool stuff. And then it'll actually move into pickles and pickled eggs and all sorts of fun stuff. But they get really intense. And I'm not there yet. We're going to start super simple. So I found the easiest recipe I could find. Cabbage and salt. Keep it simple. I will post down below the link to the recipe that I'm using. I am using a recipe by Homestead and Chill, Deanna Cat on Facebook. I love her. I love everything I've ever made of hers. I love every tip she's ever given. So if you're ever looking for a good source of information, I recommend. But we'll try this and we'll see if we like this recipe. I'm using a 5-pound cabbage. It's just shy of 5 pounds. I have removed 3 outer leaves so it's nice and clean, and then I've given it a good wash. I saved one of the leaves that I removed because it was really nice and clean to wash this off, and we're going to use this too. We have sea salt. I have 2 kinds of sea salt. We have our kraut source, and we have a cutting board, a knife, and then a big bowl. Okay guys, we are ready to go. I just wanted to let you know that this was a brand new jar, fresh out of the box, so I did wash it with soap and water, of course, but there was a note in this recipe to be careful of washing them with soap because sometimes it can have a weird effect on the fermentation. So I did wash it with soap, but then I went back and I used, as they suggested, vinegar, and then I rinsed it with super hot water. Another thing I'm going to do to get ready is I'm going to actually weigh my bowl just in case anything goes sideways. I want to make sure that I know the weight of this. In order to make a quart of sauerkraut, you're going to want to end up with 2 pounds of cabbage. So I'm going to slice this guy up nice and fine, and then we can start to add it to the bowl until we get 2 pounds worth. So I was having some thoughts while I was chopping up this cabbage, and I did some quick math to see what this whole thing needed to weigh in order to get 2 pounds of cabbage plus the weight of the bowl, and that was 1,241 grams on my scale. I ended up with 1,255 grams. And there's actually a note in this recipe that says if you're a little over, a little under, it's fine, it's whatever, just keep going. So I'm just gonna leave it at that, a little bit extra. But I wanted to just say too, because I was feeling like I was cutting this and the texture and the look of the cabbage, I understand it's going to change, but it just is such a different shape than the cabbage that I purchased from the store. It's very thin and very long and skinny strips almost. So I was just kind of thinking like, oh, I'm making a mistake by cutting it in this way, kind of like almost chunky squares. So if you guys ever see anything that I'm doing in these videos and you're like, oh, why didn't you do it like this? This would be so much better. I absolutely welcome constructive, polite criticism. So drop any sort of feedback or tips or tricks in the comments. I would love to see them. If you have like a favorite rendition on like sauerkraut or any fermented vegetable, let me know your favorite flavor combos. I want to keep you guys entertained too. So if there's ever something like, oh, can you try making this? I would love to. Toss me some experiments. I'm super into trying different ways of doing the same thing to see which way is the best. So yeah, I just want to make that super clear because I'm not actually a homesteader, but I want to be. And so if you're looking at my chunky cabbage and you're like, you're not gonna like that, let me know. Like, I mean, if there's a better way out there, I don't want to just get discouraged after the first try. Give me your tips. I want them. So for this recipe, if you are making 1 quart, which is equivalent to 2 pounds of cabbage, you only need 1 tablespoon of sea salt. Okay. 1 tablespoon of salt. All right, let's get to massaging. My hands are clean. Massage for 2 minutes. It's like relaxing. I meant the cabbage is relaxing. I don't find this relaxing. Okay, so the cabbage is back from the masseuse. I'm gonna let it rest for 10 minutes and then we're gonna come back and do that again. It's been 10 minutes and I do see a difference. There's a decent amount of liquid coming out and it is relaxing. It's not the rock hard cabbage it once was. So I'm going to massage this for another 2 minutes and then let it rest again for another 5 and then we can start packing the jars. The next step now is to pack it into the jars. I'm going to use the end of this brush to try to pack it in really nice and see how that goes. Is that better? Hey, that's not bad. Actually, that's working way better. So I'm kind of thinking, why don't we just follow the kraut source directions together? Put your ingredients into a wide mouth mason jar, and you need to make sure that the contents reach the shoulder of the jar, so we're good there. And then pour enough brine to cover the contents by 1 inch. Yeah, I think it's about 1 inch. Place the spring onto the press. Here's the press. Here's the spring. Press. Spring. Insert the slit through the spring. Push down, compress, and then turn to lock. Yep, like that. Okay, so now it looks like, this picture down here. Place the compressed unit on top of the mason jar and secure it with a ring. We saved this little cabbage leaf. I'm going to put this on top so that it acts like a cap to keep all the small little cabbage floaters tucked underneath it so we don't have anything coming to the surface, even through the press of the kraut source, because anything that comes in contact with air is at risk of becoming moldy. That looks really good. Okay, now I'll put it on. Okay, secure with a ring and then rotate, release the press, allowing the disc to lower down onto the jar, keeping the contents submerged. They were submerged without that, but now you can see. Fill the moat with water 2/3 of the way up and then put the cap onto the moat. Okay, water in the moat. Piece of cabbage on my lid. Ta-da! Note, the moat must have water at all times. Check every few days and top off as needed. Cool. During World War II, the United States government encouraged its citizens to make their own sauerkraut to help with the war effort. Genghis Khan carried sauerkraut on his raiding forays to keep his soldiers healthy. They conquered Asia and introduced the fermented vegetable to Europe, using salt instead of rice wine, a practice that was later adopted by the Germans. For the first early American pioneers, cabbages and potatoes were the only vegetables they could grow regularly. As the settlers lacked refrigeration, the cabbages were salted and stored in crocks. The best temperature for fermenting is around 20 degrees Fahrenheit, 21 degrees Celsius. below 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees Celsius is too cold for the cultures to develop. Keep your ferments out of direct sunlight. How long do you need to ferment vegetables for? Depends on what you're fermenting. The minimum should be 5 days. We recommend at least 7 days for cabbage-based ferments. Your ferments can be left to develop for as long as 4 weeks or longer. I think it'll be just fine over there. And I can keep an eye on the water too. Okay, so I guess we will check back in another video to see how that went. Okay guys, that's it. Thanks for joining me. I had fun. I had fun making sauerkraut. I hope you guys enjoyed as well, and hopefully you guys learned something. If I missed anything, or there's anything you want to add, throw it in the comments. If there's something you want to see me do on this channel, throw it in the comments. Yeah, I'm new to YouTube, so all of your likes, shares, and subscribes mean the world to me, so I greatly appreciate every one of you that has taken the time to subscribe so far. I really, really appreciate that. If you're curious about my last video where we made the mason jar baking mixes, I have tried the one mix that I have never tried before, the brownies, and it was amazing. It was probably the best brownie I've ever had. So if you haven't seen that video and you're curious to know what I'm talking about, I can link that one down below as well, so you can take a look. I appreciate you guys for stopping by, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!